Welcome back to Cocktails with Kurt. This is episode 20, where our featured cocktail is the Stag and Cross Sour. Kurt, I think we owe our viewers a little explanation for our long hiatus there.
We've been away for a bit.
We have. We were shocked to learn when we just looked that our last video posted at the end of August, and here we are coming at the end of October right now. So the problem was technological. We decided to upgrade our technology, and that made it worse. Specifically, you couldn't hear. We recorded a whole episode, and you just couldn't hear it. So
that put us into a little bit of a bounce.
It was kind of a funk after that. We were going to figure it out, and then we didn't. Well, anyway, we're back, and so the Stag and Cross Sour is a season-appropriate drink, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Virginia, we've had some warm days and some cool days, and today is a cool and rainy and generally crappy day.
Yes.
So, what's in the Stag and Cross Sour that's going to make it perfect for today?
The Stag and Cross Sour is a great cold weather cocktail. We have Jägermeister as the primary cocktail, or as the primary ingredient.
We're going to have to talk about that.
We're going to have to talk about Jaeger. It's going to be backed up by Smith & Cross Jamaican rum, which we've seen and used before. We also have lemon juice, demerara simple syrup. We're going to use orange flower water. I don't think we've used that before. And then we have egg white.
We will also have to talk about the egg white because I'm already skeeved. And I know this drink, and I know that it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's better with the egg white than without it.
Right. We'll talk about that. So let's first talk about Jägermeister. It doesn't have a reputation for being a very sophisticated, complex drink.
It does not have that reputation. The spirit itself is actually about 150 years old, or the liqueur itself is 150 years old. Developed in Germany. It didn't come over to the United States until the early 1980s, at which point Jaeger, the company behind Jaeger, hired an advertising firm to try and get it into the US. The advertising firm came up with 5 different strategies, and the one that worked was party.
And so that's why, for those of us who were in college in the 1980s, that's our primary thought when we come up with Jägermeister.
Yep.
But really, it's like an herbaceous liqueur.
It's a very herbaceous liqueur. It's in the same vein as something like Drambuie or Benedictine or Strega, which most people don't know, but same idea. So it's very herbaceous.
We just tasted a little bit to see what we could identify.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little licorice, little mint, cloves, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Those are the big thing. The bottle says 56 different botanicals. So there's a lot of things going on with it. When it was originally developed, it was primarily drunk in Germany, and may still be primarily drunk in Germany this way, but as a digestif. So it's something that they would drink after a great big meal to try and settle their stomach. That was its original intent. If Jaeger had come over this year or 10 years ago, as the cocktail revolutions have really started to pick up, and the craft cocktails were being looked at, what can you make out of cool stuff? I think this would have worked out just fine. It just happened to come in and introduce itself in introduced itself in a bad light.
Well, but it worked. Everybody knows Jägermeister, and pretty much everybody who's been to college in the 80s and 90s has drunk it.
Yep.
So, all right, moving on. What else?
Okay. So I don't think we've used demerara simple syrup before. We have definitely talked about demerara sugar. So we must have used this simple syrup. I can't remember what it was for. But the demerara simple syrup.
I'm going to try our new technology here to... How do you do that?
You can zoom.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so that sugar in the raw then.
This is basically sugar in the raw.
Coarser.
That's...
Okay, and browner. Yeah,
yeah,
I got it.
That's sugar in the raw is the brand name, but it's basically it's a richer sugar. So instead of just getting a pure sweet taste to it, you get more going on with it.
Well, the color is very different.
Yes.
Than regular.
Yeah.
Simple syrup.
It's a much richer, little bit of molassesy flavor.
And orange flower water.
And the orange flower water. Used quite a bit in the Middle East, I believe.
It's delicious.
It's very strong.
It tastes exactly like you would expect with a name like orange flower water or orange blossom water, which is actually what this bottle says. But a very little bit of that'll go a long way.
Yes.
All right, let's get going here.
Okay.
Getting thirsty.
Yes, indeed. All right, so.
And aren't we going to do a new technique today,
We are going to add a new technique. It's called a dry shake. So, as always, 2 cocktails, 1.5 ounces of the Jaeger. Did Minnie make an appearance?
Yeah, her tail, I think, just barely did not get caught on the video.
Okay. All right, so 1.5 ounces of Jaeger.
Each?
Yes. And then 1/2 ounce of Smith & Cross.
So how is a dry shake different? What's the other term? Wet shake?
Shake.
Okay. So how is this one different?
So the dry shake is basically taking all of the ingredients and then shaking them without ice.
Okay.
Basically it's used when particularly if you're using something like egg white, because it helps get the egg white to fluff up and become bubbly and creamy. If you don't do the dry shake, you'll get it a little bit still, but it won't be nearly as effective. Okay, so...
So basically a dry shake is a shake without ice.
Yes, that's all it is.
So it's not going to have that cool sound.
Not to start with, but we do both.
Okay.
So 1 ounce of lemon. 3/4 of an ounce of demerara. And this is 1-to-1, just like we make the regular simple syrup. So in this case, I did 3/4 of a cup of sugar to 3/4 of a cup of water. Then 2 dashes of the orange flower water. This is not a dash, or this doesn't dash well. So what I've got, a dash is 1/32 of an ounce. What I have is 1/4 teaspoon, excuse me, 1/8 teaspoon. So we're gonna do about half of that. And very carefully. Yeah, mine's got a little extra. Again, this is the orange flower water, a little bit goes a long way.
I'm pretty sure that I warned you about that before, measuring over the drink itself.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Oh, well. And then the egg white.
All right, let's talk about the egg white.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even normally like eggs properly cooked. And so the idea of having an actual uncooked egg white in my cocktail absolutely skeeves me. So we tried this cocktail without an egg, and I had to admit that it just wasn't as good.
Yeah.
So we're starting the dry shake here.
This is the dry shake. I'm going to shake it just like I would. Normally, if I'm doing 2 cocktails, I'll do them 2 at once. But as the egg white is trying to bubble up and foam, If I don't hold the thing tightly together, you might even hear it. There's a little bit of a pop. It builds up pressure.
Anyway, so the egg white really provides like a creaminess, and it gives it a little like froth on top.
Yep.
But the creaminess really pervades the whole drink, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
We should also note that we have discovered a vegan version of the kind of the
So if
that
you want to,
component of a.
can you see that?
Lift it up a bit. Can you?
I'm not sure how much more I
Yeah,
can
no,
tell.
I can kind of see it.
Okay.
Not really. We'll have to work on this.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I was talking about the vegan substitute. You can use aquafaba, which is the liquid in a can of chickpeas. It has similar properties to an egg white.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of purposes, I understand, but
Say what?
I said for a lot of purposes, I understand, but for our purposes, cocktail is really what we were concerned about. It does occasionally, you can occasionally discern a bit of an earthy flavor, so that might not be appropriate for every cocktail.
Right.
But it's a good option for those who don't want to have egg white.
So now I filled each of the shakers with about half full with ice. Now we'll do a regular shake.
I can hear it.
And with a nice block, a single block of ice.
Any garnish for this drink?
There's no garnish with this drink. So you can definitely see a nice creamy finish. And that's all the egg white. And as you let it sit, you'll actually see the egg whites start to separate and create a layer on top.
Kind of looks like a frozen Coke. Did you ever have frozen Coke?
I did not.
There used to be frozen Cokes and frozen cherries at Kmart, of all places. My grandpa and grandpa used to bring me there for that. All right. Looking good.
All right. So this is the Stag and Cross Sour.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you next time.